So I recently responded to a YouTuber by the name of Glyer and his video, Why I Can't Take Some Atheists Seriously, which charged various atheists on YouTube with being bullies who mocked Christians over a lack of intellectual capacity. Gret stated that they were going to demonstrate how theists were in fact intellectual and how it was many atheists who were illogical via the application of some version of the moral argument. I came, I saw, I responded. I left things pretty well tied up in my opinion, as I pointed out that Greg had caught himself out with his very definition of objective morality, since he was reliant on the exact same structure as every dictatorship in existence, having merely switched out values of human well-being as a humanist would hold for a higher authority. In short, I found that they failed in their task overall. Yet, if there were any doubt left, this is what he responded with. Yeah. This was of course attached to a response video titled Atheist Bullies Christians but Runs from Debate. Looking at you, Essence of Thought. Well, word on the street is that I'm actually okay to look at, so I can see why. Fact is, there were some assertions made that I felt are worth addressing, as I've faced many of the same arguments whilst tackling the MRA, alt-right, neo-Nazi sector on YouTube, but they failed to supply me with a video to respond to. So, whilst the title says, Dear Christians, the message applies to a good number of people and groups on YouTube. So with all of that declared here, let us continue.
What's up guys, it's Gret from DonorC, and today you are in for a treat. This morning I was in for a treat actually. A few days ago I made a video called Why I Can't Take Some Atheists Seriously. And I called out a few atheists, and the main contention of the video was objective morality can only exist in a universe with a higher being. Now it's a 15-minute video, so if you want to see my full argument I'll link to it down below and you can watch it. But the basic idea goes like this. If the game Monopoly exists and there's no creator of the game, the pieces in Monopoly can come together and decide to play the game a certain way. But ultimately, what they decide is just a subjective version of how the game should be played. There's no objective, overarching force that is determining how that game should be played. In order for those rules to be objective, meaning that the rules are unchanging no matter what the pieces think about them, there has to be someone who created the game and who created the rules of the game.
The problem here, of course, is that Monopoly rules do change. There are house rules that players agree upon, and as your usage of Monopoly has demonstrated, the concept of higher being is entirely subjective. Nazis, as with most dictatorships, viewed their dictator, i.e. Hitler, to be a higher being, as they are the apex of the power chain. Does that make what they lay down as morally right and wrong objective, like you just stated here? No, it just means that you switched out the values of the many for the values of the one. Theistic morality is as objective as Nazi fascism until you can demonstrate a relevant quality that differentiates between the two. Simply noting a quality of God such as he supposedly created the universe is as relevant as a Nazi noting that Hitler was a great artist. Until you can cover that is-ought distinction, you are well and truly stuck with Nazis as your bedfellows on the sort of morality you hold to.
So this is my argument about the universe. The video has nothing to do about whether or not God exists or even whether or not objective morality exists. The video was only saying objective morality can only exist in a universe with a higher being.
And the core point of my response was that you failed to demonstrate just that. You failed to demonstrate that theism allows for and is a necessary prerequisite of objective morality at all. This was noted repeatedly throughout my video in how you were reliant solely on assertion as opposed to demonstration, meaning that every time you stated God is required for objective morality without any basis, So anytime you mentioned it in your video at all, I could respond, no they're not, with equal value to that of your original assertion. Hitchens' razor, I even mentioned it by name.
If God exists, it's possible for there to be rules in the universe, such as do not kill, do not rape, etc., etc., etc. And also, just real quick, I'm not saying it's never okay to kill. A lot of these rules are circumstantial. I'm just saying that there can be rules only if there's a higher being. That's it.
I'm going to state this again, slowly, so you cannot possibly miss it. Prove that statement. As noted, you need to demonstrate why higher human authority cannot be used in place of a god or gods. Even the analogy you used earlier of monopoly is reliant on a human creator of monopoly itself. That's unless you want to claim that there's a real non-human monopoly guy walking about making up the rules. Now you may say objective must be sourced from a non-human origin, in which case I can respond with aliens like in The World's End, to which you may respond it must be non-naturalistic, to which I may respond moral unicorns, to which you may respond that it must be a deity, and there we have it. You're simply trying to equivocate objective with God sourced. But that still wouldn't save you from the question as to which god or even gods. Maybe it's a flying spaghetti monster. The line you've drawn in the sand is 100% arbitrary, and that arbitrary line offers no value to morality whatsoever. That's why I included all sentient beings in the discussion over values, and when it comes to you asserting objective morality is entirely sourced from God, I may respond in asking whether right or wrong comes from their subjective opinion, in which case it cannot be objective, or does it come from some greater external force of right or wrong, in which case they are necessary. All you have done here is presupposed you'd demonstrated the foundation for your argument, something I demonstrated you very clearly had not. All of these points can be found in my previous video, so why you're missing all of this, I don't know.
And in this video, I called out a few people, TJ Kirk, Holy Koolaid, Logicked, and thankfully, Holy Koolaid and Logicked both responded to my video, so guys, thank you for doing that. And they kind of squirmed around a little bit, but effectively they said, you know what, you're right. Objective morality can only exist in a universe with a higher being.
No, that's a blatant falsehood, as Holy Koolaid has noted in his comments on this video, which states, and I do quote, "Wait, what? 125? I said no such thing. Come on, man, if you're going to paraphrase me, at least get the gist of what I said right. I said that there are objective moral frameworks, but we choose them subjectively. I never said that outsourcing your morals to a higher power was the only way to make them objective." End quote. So you see, when Holy Koolaid claimed that you'd misrepresented them, he gave clear and concise information on how you did so by telling us what he stated and comparing it to what you had in turn presented him as saying. He didn't merely go, "I've been misrepresented, 1v1 me or you're just a chicken like some child who's way too young to have access to online gaming." Note that he demonstrated how you misrepresented him, he didn't merely assert it. Yet the worst part was that you continued to lie when he had told you no. He had never said that you require a higher being for objective morality. That's pretty damn clear, and yet you're also incapable of acknowledging your failure, that you find a way to rewrite what they've said in your mind and conclude that he, quote, "in fact, do agree with me. We're just defining terms slightly differently," end quote. How do you tackle such blatant dishonesty? Holy Koolaid states that you do not, repeat, do not need a deity for objective morality. So apparently that means he agrees with you that you do in fact need, repeat, need a deity for objective morality. You must know this. I mean, it's funny in that if you honestly thought they had agreed with you as you claimed, why didn't you quote him doing so like you did in your original video with atheists you claimed agreed with you? Since you didn't, it seems to me like you're relying on your audience's unwillingness to check your claims to gain some imagined one-up on me.
In an atheistic universe, as humans, we can come together and create a subjective morality, but that's it. And these two guys basically admit that. And then there's this guy right here, EssenceOfThought. And he put out a video this morning, a really long video, 37 minutes, and this was the thumbnail. It says, "This Christian is really angry that atheists mock religions by not declaring objective morality to be purely theistic. No, this is not a joke." And this is the guy right here. He goes by the name EssenceOfThought. And I found him on Twitter, and his name is actually Peter. So Peter, first of all, you have great hair. Second of all, you have a great accent. Third of all, your videos are very well put together, and you're a very articulate guy. I'm really grateful that you took 37 minutes to discuss one of my videos. That said, while all those things are true, you missed the whole point.
Well, if the point of your video was something besides the claim that objective morality is dependent on some sort of deity, as the claim I responded to in full in my response was, then you did a pretty poor job of getting your message across. I mean, yeah, I responded to a few sideline claims here and there as well, but I also went after the opening and closing statements housed on this slide, breaking the core claim in white and with it the subsidiary claims in blue. Now, if that slide was your point, then you, sir, are nothing but a run-of-the-mill liar. Let's watch to find out which it is.
And for starters, before we even get to the video, let's just talk about the thumbnail. This idea that I'm really angry, that atheists mock religions. I'm not really angry. The name of my video is literally Why I Can't Take Some Atheists Seriously. That's the name of my video. The video isn't I'm really angry at some atheists. The video is these people are kind of laughable. They're kind of a joke. It's basically the opposite of anger. So if you want, feel free to change your thumbnail and make it actually make sense. But you and I both know you're not going to do that.
No, but because I can detect the tone of your voice in your original video as well as the language you use, and in general, see what you state. You claim that atheists are mocking Christians and believers in general because they don't agree with your unevidenced presuppositions. You lash out at anyone and say that if they disagree with you, they are part of some absurd ideology. Yeah, sure, you attempt to play it all down as something you can't take seriously in your 15-minute video with hours and hours of commenting, plus a 1.5-hour debate and a second video right here. This to me seems like a method of poisoning the well. You are very clearly upset, otherwise you wouldn't be throwing around the words of mock and bully, as you have. That's why I put the word in my thumbnail. Note the word mock, to put focus on very specific language you use to justify my observations. Now, I don't believe God exists, but religion fucks up so many lives that, yeah, I take the topic damn well seriously. It's ridiculous, fundamentally absurd and completely void of any intellectual content. Yet, I still take it seriously as it impacts people's lives, irrespective of whether they are religious or not. It's invasive, it's toxic, it's choking, it makes me furious. So you see, one of us is very clearly used to being honest with our viewers, whilst the other simply sets out to be the exact opposite. And from the fact that you have already lied about what the people you went after stated, I'm pretty sure people can figure out who is who.
And when it comes to your video that you actually made, I'm gonna let people watch the full thing themselves. I'll link to it in the description down below and they can see what they think about it. But while I appreciated what you had to say, I actually think you basically ignored my argument altogether. In my video, I said, this video has nothing to do with the existence of God. This video has nothing to do with the existence of objective morality. It's simply a video making a singular contention. Objective morality can only exist in a universe with a higher being. Now, it's really hard to pin you down on this, but I would guess if we were using the same definitions, you would actually agree with that.
No, I would say that you're a lying sack of shit, as I refuted that core point and with it, the 2 secondary points you made, and I've done so again in this video, and simply pretending that I agree with you if I use the same terms as you, terms you laid out in your original video, and thus I understood fully, and yet still disagreed with you, leaves me with one conclusion only. As I said before, you're a lying sack of shit. And yes, I've reached the end of that justifiable limit when it comes to treating the person I'm responding to with a reasonable degree of respect. You have done nothing but lie about me and people such as Holy Koolaid, and that really does trigger an aggression response from me. I don't like being lied about, so I'm going to shut that down pretty fast. The only way your argument could work is if you defined, or more specifically, redefined, objective morality as coming from a god, which isn't an argument, and I stated in the opening of my first video, I would reject that on the basis that you're simply trying to win via redefining key terms, something people like William Lane Craig have a habit of doing. You don't get to tell me what I would do, because you can't accept the fact that, as a sack of shit, you're simply full of crap.
And that's why I challenged you to a debate on both YouTube and Twitter. On Twitter I said, this nice fellow with a really great British accent has made a 37-minute takedown video of me. I hereby challenge him to a live debate. Debate might be too strong of a word, we could just call it a conversation, whatever makes you feel the most comfortable.
How about Sophocratic shit show? It gets right to the point and it's 100% accurate, as you have demonstrated here with your dishonesty.
But you and I both know you're never, ever, ever going to be comfortable having a discussion with someone like me. Because I looked through your channel and the entire thing is basically a sad collection of you bashing religious people. And if you were to host someone on your channel who's a nice, reasonable guy like myself, and I prove to have logically coherent thoughts, you know that will completely destroy your reputation.
Well, you obviously didn't look very hard, as on the video tab on my page, without having to scroll down at all, you'll see the title, Live Religious Ramblings Without Evidence or Research, a 1.5-hour debate you just asserted doesn't exist. You could have asked a single one of my viewers about it and they would have told you, because that's where the shirt comes from. And whilst humanism came out looking far better than Christianity in that conversation, I was so dissatisfied with the lack of references that I later went back and did a second 50-minute video to rectify that. I don't want to do a live shit show where you can spout crap repeatedly without supplying evidence, only to have to return to do a referenced second video, breaking that down, for you then to turn around and go, well, I wasn't in the best of my minds that day. I want your scripted, edited, published, and hopefully referenced work, i.e., what should be your arguments at their highest quality. That's not sad. That's how modern academia operates, and is the standard I live to emulate as a humanist. Live talks only have one value in intellectual discussion, and that's giving the audiences an introductory glance at both positions. That's where the value ends, in the honest fashion, and all that begins to appear after that is charisma-reliant sophistry. Your way is to lead conversation away from quality and away from detailed references. My way, meanwhile, is to give the best damn argument I can give with references everyone can check for themselves. Now, I don't know if I'd beat you your way. Hell, you'll likely beat me with your experience in passing off ignorance as knowledge. But I do know I'll beat you my way. We're not doing it your way. As the person who demanded the debate, it is custom for you to allow me to select the format, and so I have. I chose referenced responses of the highest quality. live with that fact or bite your tongue.
Because all of your followers, they're following you for your shtick. Your shtick where you act like the only intellectual position to take is that of atheism. And you know that if you were to have a debate with me, your followers would see a reasonable, logical, religious person, and they would start to question the litany of videos you have made criticizing these people for so long. The only way your ideology survives is if you ignore reasonable people who have differing opinions than yourself.
I just want to lay out your accusations in a logical manner so people can keep up. You assert, Claim 1, Peter/Ethel ignores all reasonable people that have differing views to them. We'll accept this claim for now as a hypothetical. You then also made Claim 2 at the start of the video, i.e. Peter/Ethel has responded to me, i.e. Gret Glyer. The conclusion? Well, what does it tell us about you if I only target the intellectually weak, and you are one of said targets? I don't think you gave this much thought as this cliched accusation. I've heard it hundreds of times from theists, but never from a theist I have responded to. Now, I agree to the extent that when it comes to the question of God, their existence, and theism's necessity for various philosophical abstracts like meaning and morality, I do tend to only go after the ignorant. We call them theists, and what I do, fact-checking. So of course I find my opposition to be unconvincing, otherwise I'd switch sides to their position. Having a side kind of necessitates that I don't find the opposition very compelling at all on the specific subject. But all of that is irrelevant, as all that matters is what everyone can demonstrate. And that's why people like my channel. I reference each and every one of my claims which requires said referencing. I also hold back on the insults and make people I'm responding to earn them. Like yourself, earlier in lying about what another atheist and myself said, in claiming that we would agree with you if only we came to play your pathetic word games.
In fact, I went through and I looked, and some of your fans even want you to debate with me. This guy says, I know it's not your style, but I think you should go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Just keep the Chrome tab ready if you ever need to fact check anything. Yeah, dude, just do that. Keep the Chrome tab ready.
If I read a study in less than half an hour, I can guarantee you that I've missed something, and that something is very likely to come back and bite me on the arse. I very often reread studies repeatedly, and the same goes for the people I'm responding to and listening to their position. It's called producing a quality response to uphold the standard I learned at university. Now, this random viewer, who I have never seen post a comment to my videos before, clearly does not understand that fact. So why the hell should I care? My viewers don't own me, something which is especially true for ones who display a total lack of understanding on the nuance of why I stick to edited and referenced pieces. Hell, I've had Patreon givers attempt to stop me doing certain videos, only for me to reject their money. I don't care about what they think. I don't care about their personal opinions. I care about their arguments. There is a lot to lose, including my time for a half-rate piece, which devalues my work on this channel overall. I didn't give a crap about what other atheists thought before. I still don't. That's not to say that I can't be convinced, but to be convinced, there needs to be a weight of argument. For example, I don't typically do older videos, and yet I had a viewer come along and ask that I respond to a couple of specific Muslim preachers on a couple of specific videos. I asked them why. They responded with how it was these preachers and not people like Hamza Sortsus, which the international Muslim audience looked up to. That was a good argument, and that is why I did just that. I responded to these two preachers. So why should I care about this random comment? Explain. There needs to be an argument. I'm all about the argument. Without the argument, you have nothing. So I guess it's nothing new.
When I debated you, you kind of gave me this pretty long response, which is something. I appreciate the small amount of dialogue, but I think a more nuanced conversation is in store for this very complicated subject. But one of the things that it seems like you're concerned about is you say, live conversations are an apologist's best friend as it's about showmanship, something that comes naturally to most con artists. I should be the one worried about showmanship. You have a British accent and great hair. What do I have? A V-neck? We'll even do it on your channel. You can have home court advantage. Or if you prefer, so less of your followers see it, we can do it on my channel. Either way, I just want to have a nuanced conversation about this really complicated subject of objective morality.
If you honestly did, you'd be making the best damn case you could in a scripted, edited, published, and hopefully referenced piece, as modern academics have been doing for centuries and continue to do so to this day. Since you're not, that tells me that, yes, you are out to score cheap points. Rapid-fire assertion has a habit of overloading me, which is why in my previous live chat I sat there chuckling like a vegetable for most of the talk, only firing back when I'd managed to lock onto a specific item. People in academic circles are rarely taught great showmanship, unlike apologists, as it's not needed. Debates are seen only as an introductory piece, or perhaps a little bit of a recap, given at the start of a topic, if at all. That's why peer-reviewed journal articles don't exist in video format with two sides firing off one-liners at one another. Fact is, you're saying that it's my choice as to how this debate goes ahead, and yet you ignore my choice when presented it. It's like, it's only my choice if my choice agrees with you. That's not my choice. I mean, we're debating right now in a format that offers both of our viewers the best we have to offer. Your worst may be better than my worst, but I'm pretty damn sure my better is superior to your better in every way. This is simply another example of the willfully ignorant trying to drag me down to their level where they can beat me with their experience of being intellectually blind. I'm not biting.
And I love how you say, published works, not live conversations, are how evidence is presented and arguments won. It doesn't have to be an argument, dude. It doesn't have to be a win or lose situation. You and I can just have a civil conversation with one another. And it's not like I'm an impolite guy. I actually have a lot of atheist friends, and I don't spend the entirety of my time trying to win arguments against them. I'm just friends with them, and we talk to each other. And there's lots of other atheists like that out there. But for some reason, it seems like there are these YouTube atheists who enjoy bullying religious people from the safety of behind their computer screen.
I have religious friends, but I don't feel the need to throw that out there as a highly irrelevant and highly fallacious point designed to poison the well in a positive fashion for yourself, whilst sometimes do the opposite for your opponent. Also, you're not a nice person. You're a really shitty character, as seen through your jabs both in your original video and this one. My thumbnail was accurate. I was basing what I said on the very words you used. That's why I quoted you. Hell, it really shouldn't be that difficult to understand. Yours, on the other hand, what you're doing is a classic Trump move. Call the opposition a bully as you set out to demean them at every point of the way. That's what a nice guy you are. We see parallels between you and Donald Trump. Also, you will note, I'm a defensive humanist. You claim that I'm going out there like some troglodyte, bullying theist, when really, I'm responding to their attempts to dehumanize atheists and strip back education and science. I do video responses. Key word there, responses. Tasty. I don't go looking for trouble where there is none. I also start out polite and then gauge how I react dependent on the theist in question. So, nice attempts to rewrite reality there. Thankfully, we're not interested in your self-sourced night soil.
So I know Essence of Thought is never going to have a conversation with me, and that's fine. I've accepted that. But if there are other atheists out there, I will happily talk to you in a live debate format on YouTube, in the comment section, if you invite me to your college, whatever you want, let's just have an open conversation about it. I'm not afraid of that. And if you are, that says quite a bit about the legitimacy of your ideology. Those who are in favor of open discussion have nothing to hide. Those who run away from it, it's questionable.
And yet here I am, openly debating the position you have made, whilst you're just attacking my character over and over and over and over again. Nowhere in this video have you responded to a single contention in my original response. Nowhere. You've just claimed I misrepresented you. You haven't shown it, you just claimed it, and that really I'd agree with you. When no, that's not the case at all. If either one of us is refusing to debate, then it is you. I have a medium. It's a high quality medium. It's the medium you started out in. Remember, Logicked, Holy Koolaid, their own stuff. You came along, video response. I came along, video response to video response. You came along, can't be video responses, has to be debate. Really, it's quite funny that it's like, oh no, we can't do it this way, we've got to change it. We gotta change it. Why? Why do we have to change it? Now, I also know one of the main points you've been making in the comments, and that's that you're not trying to prove God exists. You're just trying to make this core point that objective morality is reliant on theism, which you haven't shown, therefore, blah. The fact is, in not trying to prove God exists, you're using the exact same argument people use to try and prove God exists. You're like the South African I recently dealt with who said, oh, I'm not trying to disprove atheism and prove theism. I'm just going to make this assertion about what atheism is, which has no basis in reality whatsoever. So really, you should come to theism. It's a simple way to sort of get rid of any criticism, because any criticism can be said to be missing the core point when the core point is part of the criticism. And I did refute your slides. I refuted the core point in blue, and no, sorry, it's the core point in white, or was it in blue? I can't remember. Either way, I refuted the core point and the two subsidiary points. That's a fact. People can see it in the original video. I noted that you were just asserting, not demonstrating. So please, can you stop living in a neo-Greek fantasy world and stick to the damn points I have made? Hi there, I'd just like to say a few things here at the end of the video. First, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who has ever donated to the channel via Patreon, giving a special thanks to the following people: Trevor Matheson, Andrew Spreitzer, Sean Conley, Alexander Williams, Daniel Martinez, and of course, Matthew Kovac. Your support has ensured this channel its ability to grow over the years, and hopefully for the years to come. I'd also like to ask that you comment down below and like this video, as well as subscribe and follow Essence of Thought on Facebook. Please also consider following the Atheist Alliance International group on Facebook, an organisation dedicated to helping atheists around the globe. Last of all, I'd like to request that you treat the people responded to in this video with a reasonable degree of respect. Whilst it is understandable that there are justifiable limits to said respect when tackling certain heavy topics, and anger can be a very genuine emotion in tackling injustice, any comments utilising language which insults others on the basis of perceived gender, sexuality, ethnicity, or both ability, mental and physical, will be removed immediately, and the commenter may be blocked on the moderator's discretion. Let's keep this space one which upholds the humanist values. So with that noted, take care.